Okay, so in this video, I'm going to explain or solve one of the problems involving quadratic equations. And the problem says if x is equal to -3 is one of the roots of the quadratic equation 2x squared plus kx minus 3 equals 0, find first the value of k and b the other root. Okay, so let's start with a plan on how to find the value of k and the other root. Okay, so as the title suggests, this is an application of quadratic equations to some problems. Okay, so the first statement is saying that if x is equal to -3, if x is equal to -3 is one of the roots of the equation, or the quadratic equation 2x squared plus kx minus 3 equals 0, the meaning of this is that take note that when a value is a root of the quadratic equation, it means when you substitute the value, the number, to every x in the equation, then it will result to 0. Okay, that is why when you factor a quadratic expression to solve a quadratic equation, you solve those x that makes the quadratic equation 0. And that's exactly like the reverse, okay, of those basic questions. So this time, you are already given one of the roots, which is x equals -3. So meaning, if we will be placing that number to every x in this quadratic equation, then indeed, this expression will be equal to 0. Okay? And that is the idea that we will be using so that we can find the value of k. Okay, note that if we will be replacing x by -3, the only unknown in this equation will be k, and that solves the value of k. And then for letter B, the plan is, once you found the value of k, because k will become a number after you answer letter A, once this becomes a number, then all we have to do to find the other root is to factor the left side of the equation, because this is already 0. We solve the quadratic equation by factorization, and that will give us the value of the other root. Okay, so that's the plan. Okay, again, the plan for A, the value of k, to find the value of k rather, we substitute -3 because it is a root and that is allowed, and then we will be finding the value of k. And then for the other root, once k is a number, all we have to do is to use a process of factorization. Okay, so to show the complete solution, so let's start with letter A, finding the value of k. So for A, we said that we will be placing the -3, the root, so plus k, so that's for every x, and then -3 equals 0. Okay, so working on this equation, this means 2 times 9. K times -3 means minus 3k. So make sure you know how to work with your sign values. And then minus 3 equals 0. 2 times 9 is 18. Minus 3k minus 3 is equal to 0. And then continue. So 18 and minus 3 will be 15. So minus 3k is equal to 0. And then just keep on solving. -3k equals -15 by subtracting 15 on both sides. And then finally divide by -3, and that means k is equal to -15 over -3, which is +5. You see? So we were able to find the value of k. Now, so that makes the equation, so if you look at the equation, it says 2x squared plus kx minus 3 equals 0, and k now is 5. So this equation will turn into 2x squared plus 5x minus 3 equals 0. So this is the equation that we need for letter B, because to find the root, all we have to do is to solve that equation. So let's go to letter B. Letter B, so now that we know that the equation is 2x squared plus 5x minus 3 equals 0, to find the other root, we factorize the left side. I can have 2x and x. Well, by looking at the numbers, I have to place the 3 and 1 on the first group, okay, in order for us to get the 5, because 2 times 3 is 6, 1 times x is x, the difference of 6 and 1 is 5. Okay, so make sure you also know how to work with factorization. So I need a positive 5. I have to keep the 6x positive. Note this is the 6x. And then I have to make this negative 1 so that it will become negative x, which is consistent because negative 1, see, negative 1 times positive 3 should be negative 3. You cannot have both signs to be positive, both signs to be negative. Otherwise, you will not be able to get the negative 3. Okay, so moving on. This is now, remember, if this 2x minus 1 times x plus 3 is 0, by the rule, 2x minus 1 is 0, or x plus 3 is equal to 0. So solving the first, this is 1 divided by 2, and that gives us x equals 1 over 2. The other one is x equals negative 3. And take note, this is the root that was mentioned at the beginning of the problem. X equals negative 3 is one of the roots. So we are doing the right solution. So to answer the question, find the value for the other root. X equals negative 3 is already one of the roots, so this must be the other root. So x equals 1/2 is the other root. Okay, so that solves this problem. Okay, first we look for the value of k, and then after that we were able to create the exact equation because k is already known, and that is 5. And to find the other root, all we have to do is to solve the equation. Okay, so problems like this, the process is always the same. You're given one of the roots, you substitute it to the x, then equals 0, and then find the value of k. You found the k, complete the equation now, change the k by that number, and then factorize. And that's how you solve this question. Okay, so I hope I was able to give a clear explanation on how to solve this type of problem. This is a problem involving quadratic equations. So as soon as I can get another question or application of quadratic equations, I'll be making a video for that. Okay, but for now, this one is just one of those many applications. Okay, that's it.